Many people believe that transforming their physique or burning body fat requires a complex routine of highly specific, isolated exercises, each targeting a single, individual muscle group. But sitting on a machine to perform a movement like a leg extension only recruits a tiny fraction of your overall muscle mass. Because so few fibers are firing, the biological energy cost remains incredibly low. If you want to maximize muscle growth and aggressive fat loss at the exact same time, you have to demand far more from your nervous system. You need a movement that forces your entire body to fire in unison. That requires abandoning the metabolic inefficiency of isolation. You have to load the human body's most demanding compound movement, the squat. Imagine a bare human skeleton attempting to lower its hips and stand back up. Without a heavily tensioned muscular system acting on those bones, the frame would instantly collapse under gravity. Look at this frontal muscular diagram. The first massive piece of biological hardware we add to the chassis is the quadriceps femoris. These muscles lock on to the front of the thigh and fire to forcefully extend the knee, straightening the leg. But straightening the knee is only half the equation. If you solely extend your legs, your torso remains pitched heavily forward. To stand upright, you have to drive your hips completely open. This diagram of the posterior lower body shows exactly where that power originates. Your gluteus maximus and adductor magnus act as the engine's main cylinders. They generate the raw, upward force required to push out of the absolute bottom of the squat. These prime movers form the largest biological engine in human anatomy. But firing an engine that large without a rigid support structure to handle the torque would be catastrophic. If you drive hundreds of pounds of upward force through your legs without completely bracing your torso, the spine will simply fold and snap under the pressure. In this diagram, you can see how the body prevents that collapse. The posterior stabilizers engage, specifically the erector spinae, which are the vertical muscle columns running directly up the back. They contract to lock the human spine into a rigid, unyielding pillar. On the front of the body, the rectus abdominis, your core, clamps down as a counterbalance. This creates intense internal abdominal pressure, matching the violent pull of the back muscles. Finally, the load transfers directly into the floor. The soleus and gastrocnemius, the calf muscles, fire to lock the ankle joint into place, keeping the entire structure rooted to the ground. Because it forces the upper and lower halves of your anatomy to lock together under extreme tension, the squat functions as a total body structural stress test. Firing this massive interconnected network of fast-twitch muscle fibers carries a staggering biological energy demand. This chart illustrates that sheer energy output. Heavy squats burn an average of 35 calories per minute. That rate vastly outperforms the minimal output of traditional isolation exercises. And the energy drain continues long after the lift is over. Pushing massive leg muscles to their limit triggers EPOC, excess post-exercise oxygen consumption. Your body is forced to consume heavy amounts of oxygen just to recover its resting state. This extreme systemic stress triggers a profound chemical response. The physical demand floods your bloodstream with anabolic hormones like testosterone and growth hormone, actively signaling your body to rebuild damaged tissue. The caloric burn during the lift is only the initial phase. By forcing the system to recover from such extreme tension, the squat creates a high-energy metabolic state that sustains muscle growth and fat burning for hours after your workout ends. To safely trigger this metabolic response, your form has to be exact. As shown in this illustration, keep your head facing forward, chest up, and core engaged to protect the spine. Notice the depth requirement. She descends until the hip crease falls parallel to the knee joint, the angle required to fully activate the glutes. Whether you hold a heavy barbell, a kettlebell against your chest, or purely your own body weight, the external load matters far less than executing this precise biomechanical pattern. Mastering this pattern is the most direct way to leverage human biomechanics. By engaging the body's largest engines in a single movement, you trigger the physiological responses necessary to reshape your physical composition.